All right, all right. What's going on, party people? This your man Grill. Hey, just want to do a quick Fritter Friday for y'all. We're not gonna be up here too long. Because I got signings I gotta knock out and everything. So I got 4 today. And this week has been great. Altogether, if nothing cancels on me, I will do 20 by Saturday. So Saturday I got one that's 10 in the morning. I ain't gonna lie to you, I really didn't want to take it, but I gotta keep this money flowing. I gotta keep this money, and it's only $50. It's a HELOC. Some HELOCs out there for more 75, depending on which company. And I've had several of those, and then there's some companies that do 50. Nonetheless, it needs to be done. I got to go knock it out. So that's what I'm that's what I'm going to be doing. So y'all saw the title talks about talking about where's my money, and what I'm talking about is basically these companies aren't paying you. So before I get started, eggnog. Yep, eggnog. No eggs in it. It's vegan friendly. That was this thing on the side. So it's vegan friendly. Um, it's a little liquidy. It's not as thick as real eggnog, but the flavor is decent. The smell is decent. It smells like eggnog. Yeah, it really does smell like eggnog. However, I had to I had to boost the flavor up a little bit by putting some vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg in it, and I'm good to go now. So if you're vegan and don't want eggnog, you can't do the eggnog because it has the eggs in it. This here by Chobani is a fairly decent alternative. I'm not gonna lie to you. So it's a fairly decent alternative. It's light. It's not heavy. Like when I drink the other eggnog, I feel it. It's like okay, boom, hits the stomach, and it's like wow. Okay, so now first, before we go into some other things, let me explain to you some possible reasons. All right, I'm good now. Need to get my fix, y'all. Some possible reasons why companies are struggling to pay you. It's no different than in your own personal finances. If you have not done what it takes to have the money set aside and available to pay your bills when times get lean, in other words, savings and emergency funds, it's going to be hard for you to pay people. And some of these companies are ran the same way. Remember what I said. However, you are as a signing agent or just as you are in your life in general, doesn't mean that you're not going to be doing those same bad habits in your business. If you got good financial habits prior to starting a business, you should more than likely you're going to have good financial habits once you start running your business. So a lot of people who are overspenders in their personal life, overspenders, will be overspenders in their business life. That's just the case. That's just the way it is, because you don't change into this great business person just because you got an LLC, just because you got a business bank account. Most people are forced into changing to the positive. Most people tend to want to lay back and just stay in what's comfortable for them. And you got to step your game up, especially when now you're responsible for paying other people. You got tens of thousands of dollars coming in per week, and you're not paying people. It's bad enough if you don't want to pay them, or you will not pay them a decent fee, but then you turn around and that fee that can be considered controversial or low or not adequate, you're struggling paying them that. And that doesn't create good business relationships between you and them. So that's one of the, that's what's going on. That person does not have the aptitude or wherewithal, the business mindset in order to do a signing company or whatever company that's getting notaries to go out there and do work. they just got their stuff all jacked up. Could be the title company, because the title company might be jacked up and can't pay the signing company, who can't pay you. And then the signing company doesn't have any cash reserves to go ahead on and front you the money, give you your money, and then they wait for theirs on the back end. Most of the times, most people, if their attitude is, well, if I ain't getting paid, nobody's getting paid, then you need to know that that's a signing company you probably don't want to deal with, or a title company. What else could affect them? Just the economy. Times have slowed down. Things have gotten tight. All the orders that used to be there aren't there. And the companies who are paying them are now paying less, and therefore they got to pay you less. The companies that was paying them, regardless whether it's the same fee or lower, they was paying them weekly or bi-weekly, and now they're taking 30, 60, 90 days themselves. So the company that's paying, the title company that's paying, the signing company, everybody is taking longer. So therefore it trickles down to you and me. Some of these companies have lines of credit, and those lines of credit are at 8%, 12%, 15% interest sometimes. And with the Feds or Reserve constantly pushing the interest rates up, it makes the interest that they're paying on this line of credit higher and higher and higher. Let's say some of them are defaulting, which you don't want to be in that situation. That's why you got to work hard to make sure that that doesn't happen. But let's just say some of them they've defaulted. They're not paying their lines of credit off. So therefore the line of credit has been put on hold or frozen, and they can't have access to those funds until they get more, until they pay it down or pay what they owe, which means it's going to make it hard for them to pay us. So once they get their money in, boom. And then what makes it hard is that they're trying to get money to pay their bills. So they're asking notaries, hey, go do this order. I know it's only $50 or $35. Like yesterday, I had a last minute order, and they said, hey, we got to need this grant deed re-signed. I said, okay, cool. I went, knocked it out, made $35. And as a side note, the word on the street is that a lot of people who say that I'm not leaving my house for $150, in some of the Facebook groups, that price point has dropped down to $75. Meaning notaries are now saying, well, I ain't leaving my house unless it's $75. Let that sink in. I thought y'all wasn't going to do nothing unless it was $150. Stand your ground. Man up, woman up, whatever you do. Don't falter now. You said $150, keep it at $150. Be a real G. I'm just saying, see, if you have a low price point, you can always do the higher ones when they come. But if you set the bar so high, and now the companies are like, okay, well, that's nice. You want this, but this is where we're at. You out. And now you got to adjust. See, you're trying to make them adjusting. All that proves is that all of this flexing and posturing does not work, and it doesn't make any of these companies pay you more. If now these people in the Facebook group are talking about, I'll leave my house for $75. That's a 50% drop. $150 to $75. And if you've heard of that, if you heard people saying that now, in other words, I will leave my house for price is getting lower and lower. In other words, coming down here to where my area is $60, like I have on my shirt, which I meant to put it on, but I forgot to iron it. I meant to iron it the other day and I forgot, and it just really, really wrinkled. Put in the comment section. Tell me, I want to hear your comments, your feedback, because I'm sure y'all have seen and heard some stuff about that. So these people, their fees that they're getting paid has dropped. It's taking longer for them to get their money. And then the money that they do get, now they got to pay their bills. So if they're taking a 20, 30% hit on the fees that they was charging, which means you got to take a fee, a reduction in fee, then there's really not a whole lot can be done. You see what I'm saying? Now, granted, there are some companies who just aren't paying you. They just flat out like, I ain't gonna pay you. I mean, what do you mean you ain't gonna pay me? No, you owe me this money. And they keep pushing you off. And I've heard people say it took them 6 months to a year to get their money. And that's unfortunate. Now, things you can do to ensure that you're a little bit more empowered to address the issue is get all of the contact information that they have. Make sure you save the emails, don't delete anything. Screenshot communications on your phone, text messages, whatever, so that if something goes down and you need to pursue legal action, you have a lot of information that you can give to your attorney, who can then use that to present a case for you saying they ain't paying my client. They need to cough up these dollars. It would be ideal to do that, to just collect as much information from emails, conversation, whatever. I mean, of course, people can record if you're in a state that doesn't need two-party consent, but whatever you need to do to protect yourself, do it. If the email that came to you about don't seem right, leave it alone. Ask them to call you. That's what I do. When I get these funky emails about, hey, do this closing for us, we'll pay you $150. Hey, can you give me a call? And if I don't ever hear from them, then I don't worry about it. I do not worry about it. If I ask you to call me and you can't take the time out to call me, no, I'm not. I'm sorry about that. I'm not messing with you. I'm gonna be like, okay, you know what? The money, I don't need the money that bad, So another way to make sure that you're getting compensated and paid properly is you need to understand the terms and agreements from these companies. These companies have terms of service, and you need to understand them to make sure that they are operating within the guidelines that they said before you start going off on them. So let me share this with y'all real quick. So when you're in SnapDocs, and I'm going to show you SnapDocs and signing order. I don't know why my ear is itching tonight. It's probably dry because the cold weather and all of that. But today, this morning it was cold. So, so when you're in SnapDocs, you will see Contact Us. And when you see Contact Us, you click on that. And what it's going to do is bring up another window. And then you click down here, Terms of Service. And those terms of service, what that does is it shows you what the terms of service is. Now, in this case, with Accurate Group, and we're going to go through this real quick, and then y'all can, if you've done one for them, you'll just click on that and you'll read it for yourself. But it's telling you, in consideration for your performance of services as provided here within, SnapDocs and Inc. will collect from them, from Accurate Group, and pay you the amount specified and arranged at the time of accepting the order. So for the most part, they're not there. You won't really see them talk about negotiating. That's a side thing that they can do later on. But you won't really see them talking about, here's the pay, but you can negotiate and all of that. So it says, so basically, SnapDocs collects the money. SnapDocs then pays us. So if you're like, well, why are we not getting paid? That's now you got to deal with SnapDocs, because SnapDocs is supposed to be paying. You're not supposed to be calling the customer, asking them, where's your money, all of that. Okay. You're not supposed to be doing that. Now, let me scroll down to this one other thing here. What is this called? All right. So let me share this with y'all. So this says what? Service expectations. Compliance in the law, you should obey all laws that apply to the signing and notarizing the documents entrusted to you. So in other words, you need to know your notarial laws. You need to know them so you can do this stuff in accordance. Is what you've been taught helping you to stay in compliance with your state laws? If it is, cool. If it's not, you got to get rid of it. It goes on and says you should be familiar and comply with the Notary Public Code of Professional Responsibility published by the National Notary Association. So All these people that talk about the NNA ain't this and the NNA won't teach you this, that, and the other. You better make sure you understand, have that handbook, and go through that. You shall not proceed to the signing if you have a reasonable belief or concern that the signers lack mental or legal capacity to sign or appears to be subject to coercion, threat, intimidation, so forth and so on. It's telling you, you'll be familiar with elder abuse and all adult abuse laws and how they pertain to your responsibilities as a notary. Be aware of physical appearance of signers, their demeanor, mood, and request them to make and any request made of them or pressure placed on them by anyone accompanying them. So you want to make sure that nobody's being forced to do something that they shouldn't do. See, you didn't know all of this was in here, but this is the stuff that I've been talking about the whole time I've been on YouTube. And this is the stuff that these other notary people don't talk about. You need to know your terms and conditions. Observe the notary code, which goes back to the NNA. Number 3 here. Number 3. Wow, that number 1 was deep. Number 3, it says clearly, you should not advise the borrower, witnesses, or other signers, hereafter signers, elder signer, hereafter signer with the capital S, about the loan. You will not advise them about the loan. So all of this, the who, not the what, the where, that's advising. That's advising people. Or explain the terms of any of the documents presented to the signer. Furthermore, you shall not offer legal advice or offer any opinion or opinion on any matter. Then number 4 says what? Remain impartial. You shall maintain a demeanor of impartiality and shall not offer personal opinions or extraneous comments to the signer about the documents presented or about the loan or any topics outside of the settlement process. So let me come back to y'all. What don't you understand when reading this? It's telling you, keep your mouth shut. You can do this business, but the more 98% of the notaries right now, and I know that number that might be high, but we'll just drop it. Now let's just say 92%. 92% of the notaries are trying to do opposite of those 2 statements there. They're trying to say as much as they can about the documents because somebody's teaching you, run your mouth about the documents. Now you say, well, what does this got to do with getting paid? Well, if you, in some cases, and I don't have time to look through this here, but in some cases, their terms of service say, if you break any of these terms, we're not paying you. So if you're doing something, now you've been taught to do this, but the terms of service says do this. You're doing this, it says do this. And if you don't do this and you're doing this, and don't care whether you're doing this or that, but you're not doing this, you're not getting paid. So you got to make sure you're following their terms of service that you agreed to by taking that order. And you click the button that says, I agree, I accept. You didn't read anything, which is fine. That's your prerogative. There's times where I haven't read them, but you need to know that if they say this is what you can and cannot do, that's what you can and cannot do. And if you go against that, you will not get paid, or you may not get paid, or it may get reduced. And yes, it's ugly. It don't make sense. It's stressful to hear somebody say that and you ain't even done nothing wrong. But that's what it is. Okay. So what else here? I'm trying to just see if there's anything. I'm just trying to make sure. Okay, so now the next one, this is signing order. On signing order, it has a thing here on your menu says signed agreements, and it has the agreements that we have agreed to in order to do business with these companies. So you click, so let's just say professional notary service. You click on that and it tells you exactly what the terms of service is going to be. and exactly what your responsibility and everything is. Let me zoom in. All right. And it is 11 pages of a lot of stuff that you need to have your act together on. So we're not going to read through a whole lot of this here. I know it looks all jumbled on here, but here's where we're going to get to. Let me drop this down a touch. Payment of services. So it tells you payment of services, that professional notary services will pay signing agents for each order the fee set forth in the vendor agreement form provided by them in connection with each order, so forth and so on. Down here, it says payment will be sent anywhere from 15 to 90 days. So you fussing at them about it not being to you, and it's 14 days. They're not going to respond. They're like, wait, no, it hasn't even been 15 days. You hit them up on the 20th day, they're going to be like, it's not even 90 days yet. We gave you a time period that you agreed to, 15 to 90 days. And then it goes on, it says, here's, and I know this looks funny. It's saying cancellation fees are paid at the discretion of the hiring entity, professional notary services. These are not the cancellation fees. Okay, they're not. These are the fees that they pay for these particular assignments. So you fussing about I-9 verification and you want $45, $50, and they say, I already told you, going to pay you $20, paying you $200 for a small business loan, $25 for each additional document that you got to go back out and do. Got it. So you've agreed to this, and therefore that's the way it is. Some companies don't necessarily have an agreement. Let's see here. We can try this one. So this is their agreement. Their agreement is simply make sure you conduct the signing correctly. It's that simple. It's not a whole lot to it. So in a signing order, you have all of these companies that you have done business with. Some of them give you a thing, some of them don't, an agreement. This one is 6 pages. Who's this here? Mobile Notary Zone, Independent Contractor Services Agreement, talks about the statement of work, all of that, compensation and method of pay, consideration of fees, of services to be performed by the contractor, that's us. Mobile Notary Zone agrees to pay the notary fees that were negotiated prior to the scheduling of the signing, as long as each assignment undertaken is successfully completed. So now the question will be, are they talking about us, the agreement, the fee that was negotiated prior to us taking it, meaning, between us and them, or they're talking about the fee that was negotiated to from the signing company, from the title company. So the title company and the signing company negotiated a fee, because once that fee is set, then they can put it on the schedule. So we don't have visibility to talk to them about fees prior to it getting scheduled. So to me, it has to be talking about between their relationship between them and their client who's paying them. So it says contractor will also receive any, if applicable, electronic email prior to signing to receive payment, must report completion no later than 90 minutes after the signing. Failure to comply may result in a reduction of fee or forfeiture of fees prior, forfeiture of any prior agreed upon fees. So some people might not be getting paid because they didn't do what they're supposed to do. Payments will be processed on the 15th and 30th of each month, depending on the date of your submitted status. Should funding of file be delayed by the client, Mobile Notary Zone, the contractor payment will be scheduled the following processing date. So that confirms what I was saying. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Gosh, I thought I had zoomed in. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, I don't know where we're going. So, and what this is saying here, should funding of the file be delayed? That means there's a delay in them getting money, which is going to be a delay in you getting money. Rescissions, no shows, failure to close. All of these are things that they talk about. Errors in post closing, contractor will adhere to any and all instructions provided. The mobile notary zone. If transaction does not close properly, then the contractor will be held responsible for any corrections or re-sign of the documents. Contractor will also be held responsible for any costs incurred due to non-adherence to given instructions. So if you ain't paying attention and doing what they say, they got you. They got you. Okay. So that is pretty much it. I hope you understand that there are a lot of variables that go into you not getting paid. And it starts with their relationships with money. If they don't have the right relationship with money, then guess what? It's going to be a little difficult for you to properly get paid. That's just the truth of the matter. I know that's not what you want to hear. It's not what I want to hear, not what we want to experience. But if they don't have their money together on that side, then guess what? It's going to make it hard for you to have your money together on your side, which means the people who you got to pay are going to be like, yo, where my money? And you're going to be like, I don't know. I don't have it. And that's all that's happening. Now, whether you want to participate in that kind of stuff, that's going to be up to you. You got to have your stuff together, your lines of credit, so you can pay your bills off. And then when you finally get paid, pay those off, whatever you got to do. But that's what you got to do. Okay. You got to figure this out. There's no magic pill as to how to guarantee that you're going to get paid, because if you're dealing with a shyster company, they're going to be gone. And you done did the assignment, shipped it back, all of that kind of stuff, and nobody paid you. That's a problem. Now, for its contact information if you look at the signature page of the CD, there's always contact information there. You can call somebody and say, like, after the fact, like, hey, look, this here was a problem. So remember in the beginning, I talked about getting contact information. That's what you see on the CD. Contact information for the lender and whoever else, judges, all of that. I mean, something just popped in my head. I don't know why I said judges. I'm thinking because you can go to court for the title company, signing company. I don't know. I think I might have said lawyer. I'm a little tired too, y'all. and I was thinking lender. I don't know why I said judges. The lender, but you have those people's information in that signature page of the CD. You may have to call them after the fact and say, hey, I need some help. Company that you hired didn't pay me. Do you have contact information on them or something so that I can reach out to them? That's what you need to do. Okay. So I think that is it. If you got any questions, put them in the comment section below. If you can get a chance, try out the eggnog. It's good. It's decent. I had to juice it up, but put my own little sprinkle in there, but it tastes good. So y'all have a great day, wonderful weekend. Let's finish November out strong. Be safe during the holidays. And just enjoy yourself and enjoy life. Okay. Talk to y'all later. Peace.